right into understanding more about Citizens Advice as an organisation, question we often get asked is, so what do we do? And I think it may be known to some of you, or for some others it may come as a surprise, but actually we deal with an absolutely vast range of issues. I think we'd be here for quite a while if I was to kind of list everything. But to kind of give you a flavour of the types of kind of issues that clients do come to us with, they vary from everything to benefits, issues at work, so within employment, debt and money, consumer issues, housing, family, anything to do with the legal system and courts, immigration, health, plus really a whole lot more. And I think to kind of really touch base on a question that has been raised amongst the group today is they do come to us often presenting as one problem, but when you unpick that, unfortunately, some of the issues that we deal with can be very complex. So you're not just dealing with a housing situation. There could also be, domestic violence involved, for example. There could be issues around immigration. So, as a volunteer, you really would be kind of working with a whole range and kind of issues to support, your local communities. Citizens Advice itself is a federated structure, and what that means is that we are a single brand made up of just over 230 local offices, as well as being a national charity, which that means that we are also a membership organisation across England and Wales, but also a funder and provider of services in its own right. So in this structure, each local office is an independent charity. And what that means is that on the ground, they have their own board of trustees and they are responsible for their own funding. And just a point really, I think, about our funding, our core funding as the national organisation comes from the Department of Business and Trade. But, the fact that we are an independent charity, we do need and seek fundraising from a range of sources, which includes public and the fundraising avenues. Yes, we do hold contracts for a number of government-funded projects, and that includes projects such as Help to Claim and currently the Witness Service, which I should point out really with the Witness Service that is subject to change next year. So as I mentioned, we operate across England and Wales, but we also provide, there is a sister charity that also provides something similar in Scotland. And just to wrap up here, that Citizens Advice has two core aims. Of course, we want to provide people with the help they need when they need it, but just as importantly, we also need to continue to collate the evidence and gather that evidence so that we can show big organisations, companies, right up to the government, how they can make things better for people, which is ultimately why Citizen Advice started. So this slide here is really to give you an overview of how big the kind of coverage is when it comes to the numbers. If we look at numbers and assess from that point of view, how are local communities, how are people within our communities accessing Citizens Advice? And you can see here, these are stats based from 24 to 25 annual year. Our phone service remains to be the busiest, but we do also provide support to people who prefer to access us or are only able to access us by means such as web chat and email. And we also have witness service included within that figure as well. Okay. So what do our amazing volunteers do? I think it's really important to say here that if there's one thing that you take away from today, let it be that volunteers really are essential to the service we provide. Our services, you could say, unfortunately, are busier than ever. With the cost of living, we're experiencing new and complex challenges and it's very much a constant kind of development for us that we want to adapt how we deliver advice to reach and help as many people as possible. So within that, we're trying to increase our capacity so that we can increase our demand and make sure people have access to the support when they need it. So what that means for you is by volunteering with Citizens Advice, you really will have a rewarding experience that utilises your skills and enables you to make a real impact and really directly support your local communities. We have a range of roles designed to meet the different needs of local citizens' advice and provide meaningful opportunities. And with that, I think it'd be really helpful at this stage to kind of give you an overview of the types of roles that are available to you. So I'll lead with, I guess, the most obvious. It's the advisor role. So the advisor role is very much where you are frontline. You are helping clients on whether that be online, whether that be over the phone or face to face about any issue that they come or choose to come to Citizens Advice with. But we also have other roles, one of those being the backbone, really, admin, volunteer recruitment and support. Administration is crucial to any service, and that's no different for us here at Citizens Advice. We have roles where you can support staff to recruit volunteers, and we do find that many people prefer to kind of take on these roles to transfer skills and really do something different from their day-to-day. So fundraising is always on our priority list. So as I said, each local office is a registered charity. We are very much reliant on a range of financial sources. And there are often opportunities where you can help by organising fundraising events and really pushing the boat out, being as creative as you want within your local communities, within your local villages, your kind of corporate kind of settings, whichever network you have access to. And it can often be a great kind of taster, really, for volunteering, for those of you that maybe are looking for something that is more flexible, less structured, and something that you want to work around your kind of other commitments. Media or social media, love it or hate it, it's something that we can't ignore. Social media is very important, as is media, to kind of continue to raise the profile of clients at Citizens Advice and the services that we offer. So if you're someone that enjoys kind of maybe has a hidden journalistic background or interest, you enjoy social media, there may absolutely be a role for doing that within your local office. I mentioned a bit earlier about collating evidence, and this is where a research and campaigns role kind of comes in, because we do have allocated research and campaign roles within local offices. And the whole purpose of this is to really identify trends and experiences by our clients so that ultimately we can advocate to improve policy, practice, and we do that through research, client surveys, and also kind of shouting out loud through organising campaigns to bring about change. Trustee roles. So each Citizens Advice has their own board of trustees. And I think just to highlight here, I think sometimes people have a preconceived kind of notion of what is required from a trustee. You actually don't need to have a set experience of being a prior trustee, because there are many skills that you can transfer, your leadership skills, your collaboration skills, decision making. If being a trustee is something of interest to you, then those roles are available. And we are over the years, we have understood the volunteering landscape has changed. And what that change means is that people are busy, people have priorities, and people are seeking more flexible opportunities. So I think before I hand over to Anna, I'd like to finish off by saying that if there isn't a specific role within this that meets your exact need, don't be put off by applying, because you can speak to your local office. We are looking at ways of offering remote opportunities. Some local offices do that already, and making sure that we offer flexibility within our roles, because volunteering, is always and should always be a two-way relationship. So I'll hand you over to Anna.
Thank you. Thanks, Gran. So yeah, my journey. I've never thought about volunteering. I was running a quite successful business many years ago, and my background is in legal. And then I had my little girl, and then like the perspective has changed, and just sold the business, divorced my husband, started to be a single mom, and then found myself like not having so many opportunities really to have adult conversations. And then I was just assisting someone to access citizens advice, just a friend giving them a helping hand. And that's how they really recruited me. It just started, oh, maybe you would, volunteer with us. And I was thinking, volunteer? What do you mean? No, I'm too busy for that. And then they kept sending emails, and then I thought, let's give it a go. And then now, 10 years later, here I am still at Citizens Advice, and I love it. And what it has given me, volunteering, it has given me purpose. It has given me a change of career, because I never thought about about HR really. It has given me the opportunity to try various roles and a helping hand every step on the way, and really the feeling that someone has my back if things go wrong, and the motivation to let's don't be scared, try it, and if it goes wrong, well, that's how we learn. And that's basically the attitude in Citizens Advice sought. Currently, like I mentioned before, my role is head of people and culture, and I'm still going to venues. I like seeing clients from time to time, talking to clients. I like to keep in touch, and because there is something what is really, really needed from anyone who comes to either volunteer or work with us, which I will tell you a little bit more on the next slide, please. So we welcome people from all backgrounds. Like we say to our clients, whoever you are, whatever your problem, the same applies to our recruitment. Whoever you are, wherever you're coming from, we want to know you. We want to have that conversation. What we are looking for in people is, it's not it depends. If it's recruitment for paid roles, then yes, there are essential, for example, essential experience for certain more technical or senior roles. However, the main is always we are looking for people to have passion for helping others, and and have a positive and supportive attitude and non-judgmental approach. So that's the main things we are looking for. Quite often, we're not that interested in what qualifications you have, where you worked. This is not essential. What is essential is the attitude you come with. The roles we have they are various. They are, like Kiran mentioned, it's around advice support, reception, admin, research, various projects in learning and development, leadership, trustee roles. Yes, we're currently looking for trustees. So if you have a little bit of background in finances, we definitely could invite someone with a little bit of financial background to bring that strengthen the expertise on our board. But very, very often volunteers come to us and they don't know what they want to do, and we won't push them in any role. We will let our volunteers to try it. Check this out. And sometimes, and something what we never had in the past, were matrix roles. So on a Monday someone can do one role, on a Tuesday a different role, and this idea actually came from our volunteers. So we are very open to to suggestions where you see a gap. We want to make sure that when you volunteer with us, that we fulfill our promise, so that we deliver and fill the gap and something what you are looking for. Quite often it is boosting confidence, and it's gaining new skills, finding that purpose like I did. In terms of what we are doing is slightly different. We are not application forms heavy. It's more a conversation, an informal conversation, and our understanding, why you want to volunteer really, and how we can help you to navigate whatever you need to navigate, or do you want to move into employment? If so, is it within 12 months? What's your plan? Quite often our clients become volunteers, or the family members become volunteers because they've seen the service or experienced the service firsthand, and they feel the sense, I want to give back to the community, as simple as that. So whatever it is, it's important to us. Can I have, please, the next slide? The pathway. Some of you asked the questions about transitioning from corporate volunteering into paid roles. I think I can answer it here. The majority of our employees, even our CEO, started as a volunteer. So I would say it's like 80% of the workforce started as volunteers, and sometimes it's a month, it's 2 months. And especially when people are transitioning between or thinking about a career change, I think it's good, before applying and make a permanent change, to see it for yourself and treat it as a trial period. But what we do different, again, all our volunteers will get a guaranteed interview. And I'm not saying that you have to meet the essential criteria on the job, in the job pack. We will invite every single volunteer, even if the criteria are not met, and we will, if not successful, we will provide guidance, feedback, and support afterwards. We will also support our volunteers in putting together the CV, having a mock interview, and again, we are trying to be inclusive. We do not want people to unnecessarily stress, and not especially when they come into the organization for the first time, experiencing the organization for the first time. So we will share with you, with any applicants, we will share the interview questions in advance, so just to put your mind at ease. And it's basically not testing you what your stress levels are on the big day.
So as Kieran and Anna have really beautifully put, in terms of citizens advice and how you can get involved, there's tons of different ways, and there's tons of different kind of pathways and opportunities that we offer, and one of those being kind of corporate volunteering. So for those of you who are potentially in a situation where you're maybe in work and you're working for a company, but you're starting to think, oh, I maybe want to utilize my skills in a little bit of a different way. I maybe want to try something different and see what it would be like to be involved in a different space. There are loads of opportunities to kind of get involved and to give back your skills and to work with your local citizens advice in your community where you live and you work, and to connect with them. And to just kind of share your knowledge that you've had. Kind of from speaking to some of you earlier, I've learned that you've all got such a variety of different professional skills. And I think you've all got so much that you could offer to a local office, whether that's coming in and offering some skill sharing, supporting them with a particular issue that they might be having. Like Kieran said, maybe it's supporting them with their social media strategy. Maybe it's supporting them with how their website looks. Maybe it's supporting them with developing different campaigns. There are loads and loads of opportunities to get involved. And if the company that you are potentially working for at the moment does offer it, and many companies do offer between 1 to 3 days of paid volunteering leave per year. It's always really worth kind of reaching out to organizations to see if there is something that you could do to support them to really make the best use of that day, but also kind of thinking strategically for yourself in that as well, thinking, okay, what can I give back, but what would I like to learn, what would I like to kind of gain from the use of that time? And I really believe Citizens Advice is such a great space to do that, because there are so many different elements to our organization, and all of the different local Citizens Advice are doing such brilliant and varied work, that there's so many opportunities to kind of learn something new, and to see yourself in the space, I think, is really valuable as well, and to just kind of get in your mind whether it's something that you could think about. But just in terms of volunteering more generally, I just wanted to say, to kind of echo what was said earlier, if there isn't an opportunity listed on, you know, your local Citizens Advice's site, don't let that put you off. If you know that you've got something that you could offer, it's always worth kind of getting in touch with their volunteer lead to just say, you know, I've got these skill sets, I'd really love to contribute to your organisation. Is there anything that I could do and that we could potentially look at me supporting you with, whether that is mentoring, whether that's skill sharing? And I think it's really true in Citizens Advice. Obviously, volunteers are so crucial to our service and what we do, and we couldn't do everything we do without them. But it's also such a lovely journey that you see. There are so many people working as, you know, CEOs in local Citizens Advice, working in local Citizens Advice, that have started as volunteers, and also in the national organisation, so many people have began as volunteers and have kind of had a journey of growth throughout their time with Citizens Advice. So yeah, I just wanted to add those thoughts, but thank you both so much for your presentations. They're really insightful.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Eleanor. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. This is a very talented group of individuals. So yes, they would make very good volunteers. And I like the two-wayness of it, because actually so many of our members, they don't, you know, most people when they join us, they go, I know what I don't want to do anymore. I'm not actually 100% sure what it is I do want to do next. So actually the chance to sort of light touch, meet people, find out if something floats their boat or not, is actually a really good opportunity for them. And I think what you've described is quite an entrepreneurial organisation where every single Citizens Advice responds individually to its own area's needs and what their customers are saying. So it's a pretty entrepreneurial bunch, our lot. So I just think definitely there's a fit there for sure.